This is the Chamber Chat Podcast, the show dedicated to chamber professionals to spark ideas and to get actionable tips and strategies to better serve your members and community. Hello, Chamber Champions. Welcome to Chamber Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Burton, and it's my goal on the podcast to introduce you to people and ideas to better help you serve your chamber members and your community. Our title sponsor is Community Matters, Inc. With nearly 20 years in the chamber industry and over 100 media awards presented to their chamber partners, Community Matters provides the R&R that every chamber needs, revenue and recognition. When it comes to publishing a chamber map, directory, or community guide, Community Matters has a trusted experience to help your chamber accomplish your goals. With different advertising sales models and publication styles, Community Matters will help you create a non-dues revenue machine. Let's hear from Becky Womble, President and CEO of the Bastrop Chamber, to hear about her experience using Community Matters.
I've been using Community Matters for probably 6 or 7 years now. And in a previous life, I sold commercial printing. So I can highly recommend Community Matters because it's a complete turnkey job for any busy chamber exec. Basically, you give them a membership list, and from there, they contact your members, and it's no high pressure sales or anything. And it really is a complete turnkey job from start to finish. And it's a wonderful, beautiful printed product whenever you're finished. And I'm very sold on Community Matters. And with a printing background, big endorsement for me.
To learn how Community Matters can support your chamber with your next publication, please visit communitymattersinc.com/podcast to request your free media kit and request a proposal to find out what kind of non-dues revenue you can generate. Our guest for this episode is Nick Kieffer. Nick joined the Goshen Chamber in 2007 as Vice President for Business Development. Nick became the President and CEO of the Goshen Chamber in July 2017. He graduated the U.S. Chamber's IOM program in 2011. Nick joined the Board of Regents for the Winter Institute site for the IOM program in 2012. In 2013, he received the designation from the Indiana Chamber Executive Association as Certified Professional in the chamber industry. In October 2019, Nick was named to the National Board of Trustees for the U.S. Chamber Foundation's Institute for Organization Management. Nick is a past board president for the Indiana Chamber Executive Association. In 2022, he received his accredited executive distinction from the Indiana Chamber Executive Association. Prior to working at the Goshen Chamber, Nick ran a construction company with his father in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He received his bachelor's degree in business from Indiana University and a master's degree in communications from Purdue University. When he's not working, he enjoys spending time with his wife Molly and son Maxwell and daughter Caroline, and they enjoy spending time outside and stay active, chasing their kids around the family farm. But Nick, I'm excited to have you with us today on the podcast. I'd love for you to take a moment to say hello to all the chamber champions who are out there listening and share something interesting about yourself so we can get to know you a little better.
Goodness. Brandon, thank you for having me. I think what you do for the chamber industry is great. Anytime we can hear from other people and you being that source, just greatly appreciate what you do. Something interesting about me, my goodness. I have 2 food trucks that I do on the side. So with our family farm, we have a couple food trucks we do around. So when I'm not at chamber work, I'm doing some food truck work.
All right. So tell me more. What type of food are you serving out of these trucks?
So we make apple cider mini donuts. So my wife's family has an apple orchard here in Goshen, and so we have what we call the cider shack. So we do cups of cider and mini donuts. And then our new latest food truck will be a sweet corn roaster. So we'll be roasting sweet corn with some different toppings and stuff like that. So it keeps me busy. My wife doesn't like me sitting around home.
Nice. No, that sounds fun. The cider donuts sound good.
They're tasty. I only eat one every time I work. I check the first one for quality, then I stay away from them. But
you have to, right? I mean, yeah. Like any good dealer knows, you don't use the product, right? Yeah.
That's right.
No, that's great. Well, tell us a little bit about the Goshen Chamber. Just give us an idea of size of the chamber, staff, budget, scope of work, just to kind of set the table for our discussion.
Sure. Goshen is the county seat of Elkhart County. We are the RV capital of the world. So any RV you see going down the street, there's a good chance it was made in my neck of the woods. The Goshen Chamber been around since 1954. We represent 448 businesses and about 20,000 employees in the Goshen area. Goodness, I have a staff of I say 2.5. He's really a full-time third person, but we 2 full-time staff and a part-time staff here at the chamber. And we're on a budget about $400,000 a year. Been pretty consistent in that realm for the last couple of years.
Good deal. So I like getting that perspective. So as we go into whatever topic we're covering on an individual podcast episode, it really helps listeners be able to see how to scale. Compared to their chamber, and if Nick and the Goshen Chamber are able to do these things with 3 staff or 2.5 staff, and a budget of $400,000, see what you can do with your chamber, whether it's bigger or smaller, and just scale it to your size. But so I appreciate you sharing that. And as we get into our topic for our conversation today, we'll focus the majority of our conversation around empowering volunteers. And I know chambers across the country utilize their volunteers a little differently and have different types of relationships with them. So I'm excited to dive into this conversation with you as soon as I get back from this quick break. Are you looking for a year-round, affordable, and timely shop local campaign for your chamber or CVB? Look no further. Build a custom Eat, Shop, Play mobile app with App My Community by visiting appmycommunity.com/chamberchat. App My Community mobile apps are not just simple membership directory listings. They provide many more capabilities to engage with your community. Provide your residents with a robust events calendar. Partner with a local fair, festival, or farmers market to provide a schedule, map, and other resources to promote the event. Run a small business Saturday campaign any time of the year using built-in scavenger hunts. Allow your membership to communicate directly to their customers via push notifications. Your App My Community mobile app will be a unique member benefit, allow you to generate non-dues revenue with sponsorship opportunities, and best of all, provide a valuable resource to your community. Please visit appmycommunity.com/chamberchat now to receive 10% off your first year of an App My Community mobile app. Are you looking for a way to promote your business community? Look no further than Pipily. With Pipily, you can get all the tools you need to connect with your members, promote your businesses, and grow your community. Pipily offers a wide range of features, including a state-of-the-art community website, a community clicker mobile app for businesses, members, and the community, a marketplace where businesses can present professional services and even sell their products, a powerful event management and community calendar system, a comprehensive commerce community management system, and a complete membership services department, all included. And best of all, Pipily is only $1 per member per month after a small initial setup. That's a fraction of the cost of other management platforms. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up for Pipily today and start growing your business community. Book a time to learn more at pipily.com. That's PIPPILY.com to book a time to meet and learn more. We'll show you how Pipily can help you promote your business community and grow your subscriptions.
The holidays are closer than you think, and now is the time to get ready. Hi, I'm Raquel from Yiftee. Yiftee offers custom branded gift cards that can only be redeemed at your local businesses. And in December, we see 6 months of card sales in just 1 month. This means that by launching your community card, you'll help generate thousands of dollars for your local businesses this holiday season. Yiftee's community card program is free for you and your participating businesses. Join over 500 chambers, main streets, cities, and downtown associations that are using community cards to keep local dollars local. Email sales@yiftee.com to learn more. That's sales at yiftee.com.
All right, Nick, we're back. So as I mentioned before the break, we'll focus our conversation today around what we can do to empower volunteers. And I know volunteers are key to the success of pretty much any chamber. We need those people that understand the vision and the mission of the chamber and who are on board and are really great community champions. So there in Goshen, how do you guys go about working with your volunteers? And I guess we'll start there. Just in what aspects are you utilizing the volunteers?
Sure. So, like I mentioned, a staff of three, we couldn't do what we do without help, right? That's the most important part. So, relying on our board and our ambassador group to really be the extra eyes and ears out in the community to really help us with what we do is imperative to how we operate. So, we can utilize our ambassador groups for, retention, for membership growth, for kind of that first year hand-holding with a member of, really engaging them and bringing them into the chamber. So a lot of different ways there to try to do that. But you hit the nail on the head with cultivating that volunteer aspect and how we do that. It's so important to, I think, for any chamber, no matter the size, to really have a group or a core group that you can rely on.
Absolutely. That reliability is key. So volunteers, they could take the attitude of, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not taking this serious, right? So getting those right people, and we often talk about getting the right people on the bus in the right seats, and it's true with volunteers too. So to be able to make sure they're good people. It takes
time. Yeah, it takes time to do that. You really have to, it's not something where, hey, next month I'm going to have, a group of 20 people that I can go out and do this. This is something where you have to constantly work on it, work on the relationships, get to know people, find out who's, kind of invested in what they want from the chamber, right? So it's that give and take of what we have to offer, what we can help them with, and then how can you use that in a volunteer capacity?
That's right. It's often said you get out of the chamber what you put into it, and that there's a level of truth to that, especially if you get involved with a committee or volunteering or different things like that. But what are some ways that you guys go about in empowering your volunteers? So giving them some control and some say.
It's a scary thing, right? You're trying to lead the organization and grow it, but at the same time, you have to be okay with the fact that there's a group that's doing some work that you're not, you might not be able to make it. So I can't make every committee or group meeting that we have. It's just not possible. And so finding, like you said, again, the key point, finding those right people that you can say, hey, I need notes, where the chamber stands on these things, or kind of what to expect from the chamber as far as how we operate. And so our meetings should go this way. We try to get staff or myself at different ones, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Our young professional group's probably my best example of I'm not there all the time. And they really have kind of taken on that leadership role and from a volunteer side that has really helped grow our YP group.
And that's great. So maybe just pulling the thread a little bit on the young professional group. What is it about that that's really helped drive the leadership and that group forward as far as the volunteer base goes?
I think, again, it gets back to that. You have to, give them room to feel that it's their meeting, their group, their identity. So, they form their kind of executive committee for the group. And, I kind of gave an overall, hey, here's what the chamber kind of wants or expects. And how do you get there? And then just kind of taking a step back and let them work through the process. And I was in the room on those early meetings and would, chime in when I'd be like, okay, maybe not this way. We need to kind of shift over here, but not to be too micromanaging of what they wanted out of the group. So they really bought into the overall idea of what we were doing because they were the ones driving it. And so it just kind of stemmed from there. They nicknamed me, they called me the DC, the Dream Crusher. So every time they come with an idea that is out of my budget, I say no, or hey, let's figure out a different way we might be able to do it. But so just allowing that process, allowing them to really take the reins and feel like, hey, Nick's not sitting over top of us, telling us what to do. It's really our group. That they kind of have elevated that program and really taken it on.
So they like it when the Dream Crusher's not there, right?
Pretty much.
No, so I mean, joking aside, I see a good feeling that comes out of it when you can see that different committees, different organizations are able to continue on, even if you or a staff member is not there to help guide or even micromanage the whole outcome, but being able to see that they have a good trajectory and moving in the right direction, even without that, staff involvement on every step of the way.
Yeah. And again, it gets to, kind of recruiting those volunteers that understand chamber, the chamber talk and what we're here for and how we can, really make an impact or a difference in what's going on. And so you cultivate them, and then you put them in positions to succeed. And then it just kind of perpetuates through a program.
So I'm always curious to hear how people go about recruiting volunteer, whether it's a volunteer for a different, organization, a different committee or a board member. How do you see, the process of going about recruiting volunteers?
Yeah, it's listening, right? There are so many conversations we have in chamber work where somebody will slip it in or talk about, I'm looking for an opportunity or I need a connection to, or I'm looking to connect with. And so when you hear those things, somebody's wanting to put themselves out there and really get involved. And so when I hear that, right, and then it's like, okay, then you got to gauge how much and their own personal traits, right? So you kind of have to do a little, reading on their how much they want to be out in front of something, or if they just want to be kind of behind the scenes. But it's really listening to at our after hours or at some of our programs. As you get introduced to more of the membership and who they bring from their organizations, to kind of see, okay, hey, we could place somebody here, or would this interest you? We have this program. You said you wanted more information on this in the community. I have a great program over here, and then you kind of start building it from there. So it's just throughout the year, my staff and I, we kind of keep a little list of, hey, have you talked to Joe Smith or to Jane or whoever it may be, and then just kind of work them in. So it's an ongoing process for us.
Yeah. And I've seen it's often a good idea to have those people that are engaged in the community to hopefully being stepping up as volunteers and being engaged on a different level with the chamber.
Right. And if you're, for us, we run our own leadership academy. And so, we try to cultivate leadership and employees from organizations that want to be connected to. So that's a great pipeline for us. Our ambassador group, again, is a great pipeline for us. So look around your community. There's different pockets and there's different nonprofits that you can be like, oh, hey, they're super involved in this. This might be a really good fit for them over here. And then you kind of start connecting the dots with volunteers.
Absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense. I always joke about, you want busy people. Busy people know how to get things done, right?
Yep.
You don't want the person who's sitting at home looking for something to do necessarily to be
that involved. I mean, from my perspective, that is probably one of the most things for volunteerism at all. Don't waste their time, right? Yeah. Like they have a lot of things to do. They're not my employees, right? It's not their full-time job to help the chamber out. So if you don't have enough for a meeting, cancel it. Give them their time back, because they will work harder for you, knowing that, hey, they're not going to waste our time. I mean, even on a board level, right? If your agenda for your board meeting isn't jam packed, or you don't have a whole lot of things, and you could afford to say, hey, you know what, this month we're okay, and your exec team's okay with it, man, give those volunteers that time back, and it makes a difference as you're building your relationship with your volunteers.
Right. And I think if there's ways of communicating that too, where it still keeps the weight of the importance of it,
correct,
without, taking off that pressure of, we're not doing it this way. Like, it's not important. Yep. Like it still is important, but we also value your time. So we're trying to prioritize things, and given the circumstances right now, that enjoy your evening.
I just had that situation where, I took a vacation, was gone, right? And I was gone during a week where you have your typical committee monthly meetings. And I told, the three of them, the bigger meetings, I'm like, look, I'm not going to be here. It's okay. We can move it back, or we can, pick it up next month. And every one of them said, no, we got it. We got, just give us a couple things that we need. We'll have the meeting. I'll get you notes. And so that's when you sit back and you're like, I got a good group, right? This is your, good group of volunteers that really see the long-term, mission of the chamber, and really help out in that way.
Right. That's one of the best feelings, is to know that the organization doesn't sink without you there.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, from an ego thing, like, that's not true, but it's just to be like, okay, I don't have to be there as an executive. You can kind of take that breath of like, it's still going to go on.
Right. Yeah. I think sometimes we make ourselves feel more important than we are.
Yep.
So, no, that's good. So I'd like to try to get, maybe, for those who are listening, any kind of tip or action item as they are looking to take their chambers up to the next level. What would you suggest for them? May have to do with volunteers, maybe something totally different, but what comes to mind for you?
I can't, listening. I think I've mentioned that a couple times, but just listen to your membership. They will tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between, in a lot of different ways. But if you're and your staff are listening to what's going on, it'll help cultivate your membership. It'll help cultivate your volunteers, and it'll strengthen your chamber. It's been a roller coaster last couple of years. Volunteerism coming back out of it is kind of up and down, where everything's at. But it's just, if you understand the needs of your members and those that are looking to be involved, it's easy to make decisions to help them. And that's our ultimate goal, I think, as a chamber, is to be a resource for the business community. And so any way you can do that, that's to me, that'll strengthen your chamber in the future. As far as, growing yourself or getting more information, I'm a huge proponent of the IOM program, and be involved in ACCE. I think those are two phenomenal organizations that chambers and chamber execs can pull a lot of information out, whether it's going through IOM or attending ACCE. Those are great. Listen to your podcast more. I think, the more you talk with people, like, we've all been through it, no matter the size of the chamber you're running, we've all been through it. And so there's things you can learn from anybody. I was just at a function where it was the chamber director's third day on the job.
Oh, wow.
And she was, right. So just all excited about it. And she was telling me a couple of things, and I was like, man, I didn't think about it like that. Like, just 3 days on the job, it was a nugget that I could take back and bring back to my chamber. So always be open to listen and to learn from everybody.
No, I love that. The perspective that people bring from different experience, whether it's 3 days on the job, so they've got a very green, perspective to the position.
Or 17 years where you've kind of been through a lot of different scenarios. Yeah,
17
absolutely.
years, or even prior employment before it.
Yeah,
whatever your career path was before the chamber brings a perspective too. So
absolutely,
being able to learn from others and just listening and like I said at the beginning of the episode, scaling. So you can't necessarily do everything the same as other chambers, and you shouldn't.
But you can get the concepts.
Yes. Get the concepts, listen to the needs of your community, and then scale it to the size that makes the most sense. But Nick, I like asking everyone I have on the show, as we look to the future of chambers of commerce, how do you see the future of chambers and their purpose going forward?
My kind of mantra here is a resource center. That means you adapt and change. Technology is going to throw wrinkles into our business world and business community, and so being that constant resource that people can rely on and businesses can rely on for solid, good information, I think is so important for chambers to be at the forefront moving forward.
Absolutely. As you say that, I'm thinking we are recording this in March of 2023, and right now all of the buzz is Chat GBT and artificial intelligence and all these different ways that it's going to change workforce and change content.
It's going to change our workforce and chamber work. Absolutely.
Exactly. So as a chamber of commerce, to be able to be on the forefront of that, learning about the technology, helping to distill this down to the members and say, here's what it means for you. Here's how you can apply some of these technologies to better your business. And here's some pitfalls to look out for and to be aware of.
And when you look back over the many years of what chambers have done, that's the root of it. It's the always saying, okay, hey, businesses, here's what's next. Here's the next thing. And so being at the forefront of that and kind of helping businesses navigate through it is where I think we need to focus on.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I appreciate that. Nick, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share any contact information for listeners who might want to reach out and connect with you, learn more about how you go about approaching working with volunteers at your chamber. What would be the best way for someone to reach out and connect?
Yeah, Goshen.org. Goshen.org would have my contact information, email address. Kieffer at Goshen.org is my email. But more than happy to help. Like I said, I've been in chamber work almost 17 years now, and it's fun. It's fun work, but it's more rewarding when we're sharing with each other, and I'm learning from you, and hopefully I have a nugget or two that you find valuable as well.
Absolutely. We'll get your contact info in the show notes for this episode so people can find you there. But I appreciate you setting aside some time to be with us today on Chamber Chat Podcast and sharing your experience and insights as working with volunteers and really creating a culture that helps them want to work towards the success of your chamber.
Brandon, thank you again for all you do and having me on your show.
If you are a chamber professional, please subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. When you subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast, new episodes will show up in your podcast app each week as they are released. If you're finding value in this podcast, please leave us a rating and a review in iTunes. But most importantly, please share Chamber Chat Podcast with your colleagues that are in the industry.